Okay, so welcome to day 2 of the journey through the chakras. Today we're going to be covering the solar plexus and the heart chakra. And yesterday on day 1, we did the root and the sacral, which really kind of ties into the 3D aspect of living on planet Earth. And so today we're going to kind of move into the 4D, moving into a higher level of functioning and a higher level of consciousness that gets channeled through our bodies and that allows us to live a more fulfilling, more joyful life. So just to go to the comments, in regards to someone commented about being really excited to start working with essential oils. I started working with essential oils I actually started like 3 or 5 years ago. And I kind of dabbled a little bit and it didn't quite stick, but I was super interested. And then about 2 years ago or a year and a half, I really started to get into them. I had a whole new experience because I shifted from looking at essential oils as a physical support strategy into an emotional and spiritual support strategy. And so having spent over 15 years as a registered dietitian, I had a lot of tools for physical support, a lot of food, supplements, nutraceuticals, even into like breath work and yoga and things like that and embodiment. But when I took the oils to the emotional and spiritual aspects, that's when I was like, oh, whoa, these are so powerful. So yes. So if you're really interested in getting started, like getting into essential oils for emotional support, I know I've shared this book before, but this is emotions and essential oils. There's a newer version of this is on my products page. I believe it's called Essential Emotions. It's just the updated version of this, but this book is so powerful because it gives you the oil, what the meaning of the oil is. So this one is copaiba, which is the oil of unveiling. It gives you the whole explanation of the spiritual, emotional support it gives. And then it shares what negative emotions you can use to kind of shift and move through. And if you are looking to bring in more positive emotions, which ones you can bring in. And then it tells you what areas you can use it, what chakras you can use it on. It's really amazing. Just be prepared because you're going to want to buy a lot of oils. And then it also comes, you can get it with this cool wheel, which is just a wheel of emotions. And so you can be like, I want to feel more peace. And then it's going to give you all the different oils and the different emotional properties in the peace category. Or let's say I'm feeling anger or fear. You can get into which aspect of fear are you feeling? Scarcity, limited, guarded, hiding, anxious. And then there's an oil for each of those emotions. So this is one of my absolute favorite tools. Like I use this book almost daily. Okay, cool. So that's essential oils. So yesterday we did kind of a meditation into working with releasing from what is not serving us from those lower chakras. Today we're going to I'm going to be teaching you different chakra healing strategies today. So each day we'll kind of move through a different way to work with that chakra, to work with healing the chakras. So yeah, okay, so let's move into solar plexus. So the solar plexus is the 3rd chakra, and it sits just about 2 inches above the navel. So if you've ever, been familiar with the area of the body, the solar plexus, that's right where it is. The color associated with the solar plexus is traditionally seen as yellow. Again, I don't hold too firmly to these colors because sometimes I see different things when I do chakra readings. So just keeping that in mind. And the element associated with the solar plexus chakra is fire. And that is because the solar plexus has to do all with our personality, our self-esteem, and our sense of self-worth. And so if we've got a healthy fire in the solar plexus, we feel a healthy sense of self, and we feel like we can go out into the world and be sort of alive, if you will. if we have a weak solar plexus or an underactive solar plexus, we can feel, when it's unbalanced in a weakened way, we can feel inadequate. Essentially, we can feel like this need to dominate or control other people. We can feel this need to like constantly prove our self-worth. We can feel inadequate. We can even have feelings of self-hatred. We can be giving our power away. Like people pleasing can come from wounds in the solar plexus, and we just have this like poor sense of self and who we are. So that's kind of that can be a weak or an overactive solar plexus, right? So sometimes if we're feeling this need to dominate or control, or we're going out and like, we've got to conquer the world, then we're overactive in the solar plexus. Whereas if we are giving our power away and have a poor sense of self, we're underactive. So that fire element of the solar plexus can be burning really high, or it can be kind of coming down. The glands associated with the solar plexus are the pancreas and the adrenals. And this is super important because we talked about the adrenals yesterday being connected to the root chakra. When I do readings, I most often see adrenal fatigue related to the solar plexus. And I most often see it in sort of people who are high performing, a little bit more type A. This is me. People who need to sort of like to prove something or to control someone else, right? Like you're so busy, you're doing all these things, you never get a break, right? So I see a lot of adrenal fatigue burnout from an overactive use of the solar plexus. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. And then the pancreas as well. If you're burning out the pancreas by excessive use of the solar plexus, it's sort of an overcompensation for not having a strong sense of self. You've got to constantly be proving like, I'm okay, I'm here, I'm good, I'm doing a good job, right? You burn out the pancreas's ability to digest and to regulate blood sugar. So both of those glands can be affected by an unbalanced solar plexus. When you are in a balanced solar plexus, you're going to have this feeling of a depth of yourself, of like really knowing yourself, feeling really empowered in who you are and not needing anybody else to understand that. You're going to feel a good sense of self-esteem, and you're going to feel like you're living into your soul purpose, or you're really like actively completing your life mission. So you can see this difference between an underactive, overactive, or a nicely balanced solar plexus. So we definitely all, I know, want to feel like this healthy sense of self and this living into our soul purpose or life mission, right? The body parts associated with the solar plexus are the abdomen, the stomach, the upper intestines, liver, gallbladder. So it's kind of everything in this plane of the body, the spleen, and then also the middle back, or the mid portion of the spine. The things that tend to block a healthy balance in the solar plexus are anger and control. And so anger is an emotion that's typically generated in the liver. So this makes sense here. And then control really comes from a fear or a lack of trust in our process or where we are in life, right? So when we're trying to control things, it's usually because we don't feel like we'll be okay if we don't try to control and make sure something works out, looks a certain way, the results end up a certain way. So anger and control, big blocking emotions for an unbalanced solar plexus. Another cool thing about the solar plexus, so this is a fun space to get into. When I read people's chakras and I see a powerful solar plexus and a really big heart, those are signs to me that that person has a mission, a life purpose, or a mission in healing work. So some kind of light worker, right? And they may be, you may be doing work like I do, which is like coaching and readings and teaching. Their light work may be more like providing an example, being an example to family members, friends, to their children. It could be artwork, poetry, music that you're creating. But when I see that strong solar plexus in combination with a big, powerful heart chakra, that is, to me, that's what I see as a healer. Because in order for us to do healing work and to be powerful healers or light workers, we have to have a strong sense of self. because to put yourself out there and help other people, you've got to be grounded in the truth of who you are, right? So you've made it far beyond just surviving and like having connection and sort of creativity in your world, and you've moved up to this level of knowing who you are and understanding your purpose in this world. And that's really as you move into the 4D, right? That your life experience is not just about survival. It's not just about your job and your house and your car and your partner, your spouse. It's about your understanding your sense of self on a deeper level. So that's a cool thing about a solar plexus. And I'm going to today teach you guys how to read your own chakras a little bit. That's going to be our meditation today. Okay, so moving on to crystals for the solar plexus. So we're thinking in the kind of yellow zone here. I didn't bring a solar plexus stone. That's okay. So for the solar plexus, citrine is great. Amber, which is in kind of that yellowy color zone, tiger's eye, and also yellow agate. Those are all great solar plexus stones. For essential oils, lemon is really good. Lemon is the oil of focus. Lavender is phenomenal. Rosewood, chamomile, or rosemary. Rosemary is the oil of knowledge and trust. So you can use rosemary on the solar plexus to help you kind of step into that state. And then the affirmation base for the solar plexus is I can. So your affirmations, if you're looking to balance your solar plexus, may be I can do it. I can be my authentic self. I can show up in the world and serve my light work mission. I can powerfully connect with my own self. I can be a light in this world. I can shine my light safely and securely. So the I can affirmations. All right, if anyone has questions on the solar plexus, feel free to pop those in the chat box. Yeah, Lindsay says, makes sense why I often see a fireball in the solar plexus. Yes, I get a lot of fire references in the solar plexus. I especially see that for people who have a lot of fire in their astrological chart, or that's just kind of a core element of their personality is fire. And I see that also in people who are overactive in the solar plexus. They're overworking in that space, and they're actually can be, burning up the adrenals and the pancreas in that way. So overactive or underactive solar plexus, often you're going to see digestive issues, right? Because all those digestive organs in the upper abdomen are going to be affected. Okay. Also makes sense why I gained weight in that area. Yeah, so you can definitely look at where does body weight tend to, excess body weight tend to land on your body, right? Is it like more in the hips and the thighs related to the root and like security? Is it more in the belly related to maybe the sacral and the solar plexus? That can certainly be clues to what aspects are seemingly out of balance. And some will say, that's genetic, that runs in families, and it does, but our unbalanced solar plex, our unbalanced energy systems also run in families, because we inherit the energetic patterns of our ancestors, and then we also are raised in those energetic patterns, and so we're programmed to behave in that way as well. So it's multifactorial. We're also inheriting pathogens and toxins from down our family line as well that are going to cause physical imbalances too. Okay, so let's move on to the heart chakra. So the heart chakra is a favorite. It's probably a favorite for everyone, right? Because the heart is where you integrate the lower physical chakras with the higher spiritual chakras. So the heart is a really powerful place of integration. And the heart is also how we connect our inner world with our outer world. So we talked about the root chakra and the sacral being associated with our tribe and then our personal interactions. But the heart is really how we as a unique soul are interacting with our entire energetic field, our entire energetic world. So the heart chakra sits right in the center of the chest. It's typically seen as green. I also see pink very often in the heart chakra. So again, that might not be like the traditional teaching, but again, like the traditional teaching is just kind of a framework, and then you work within whatever you see there. The element associated with the heart is air, which makes sense, right? You hear people say like love is in the air. When there's the Cupid references, it's always an arrow being shot through the air. So love is a very airy kind of emotional state, right? So when our heart chakra is unbalanced, we can feel really disconnected from ourselves and not know how we fit in the world. We can have a lot of difficulty loving ourselves. So that can even come down to self-loathing, having complete lack of compassion for ourselves, a lot of self-judgment. We can feel like we don't deserve love. We can feel very out of touch with ourselves. And then depression is a big symptom of an unbalanced heart chakra, because at that point you become often so disconnected from yourself that it's hard to make any forward progress or make any movement or see a future for yourself, because you've really lost connection with yourself. And in that same respect, you've lost connection with humanity as well, with other people, right? Even people who love you, people who are struggling with depression have a hard time connecting and receiving that love. So that's a huge wound in the heart chakra. When the heart chakra is balanced and open and working, we tend to feel fully connected to ourselves. We have this sense of self-love and this sense of compassion for ourselves, and this ability to begin to witness ourselves. This is a big piece of stepping from the 3D into the 4D, is this ability of self-observation and this ability to kind of take a step back from our immediate experience, from our immediate emotional reaction, and say, okay, let me just watch this for a minute. Let me just witness what is happening here and start to get curious about it and really connect to what's happening within my heart and within my body. So this is a powerful step from the solar plexus to the heart when you start to be able to bear witness, you start to be able to hold space for yourself and for others without judgment, right? The heart is the space where we really lose separation and we come back to unity. So when your heart chakra is very well balanced, you will more easily experience joy, you will experience love, be able to give and receive love freely, and you're going to be in a lot of compassion for yourself and for the world. So it's a beautiful space when you can spend a lot of time in a very well balanced heart chakra. The learning experience from the heart chakra is really about compassion and connection with the self and others. I was like, did I skip the solar plexus in that thing? But I did say the life mission in the solar plexus. So often, with these life missions, we're going to have experiences early in life that create an imbalance in certain chakras. And how I see that, and what I've come to believe and what I've come to experience and witness for a lot of people, is a lot of these circumstances that happen to us early in life are not the result of law of attraction. They're not the result of manifestation. We're not victim to them. They're actually part of our soul contracts. And so before we come down to earth, we choose missions. We choose areas of consciousness that we want to expand in. And so for me, I'm ultra clear about where my areas of expansion are in this lifetime, and they are in empowerment and abundance. These are my areas of learning in this life. And so I had an experience early in life that was extremely disempowering, and it caused me to hold a ton of shame and have a very unbalanced sacral and solar plexus chakras. And so I lived in those very unbalanced sacral and solar plexus that would become completely deactivated and then hyperactivated for 35 years. 36 years, I don't know, for a long, well, until I was about 35, 36, I started to really unravel that stuff. And having gone through all those years living with a very unbalanced sacral and solar plexus was very painful, right? It caused I personally experienced a ton of lack, a lot of loneliness, shame, disempowerment, feeling like having low self-esteem. Let's put it that way. Those were big things that I lived in for a long time. And I understand exactly why I had the experiences through my life that would set me up for these imbalances in the solar plexus and the sacral, because my mission is to learn to heal those things. And my mission is also to share that healing with other people, because how can I really guide people through healing if I haven't walked that journey myself? There's to some degree you can support people, but if you've never been there, right? If you want to trek up a mountain, do you want someone who's a really good mountain climber, or do you want someone who knows that mountain like the back of their hand, right? That is a pretty easy answer to that question. So as light workers, as healers, as way showers for what a conscious life can look like, we have to go through these experiences of healing. And we come in with these soul contracts that give us these experiences that teach us about polarity, right? So I had disempowerment and lack. And now that I know what that really feels like, I can get ultra clear on empowerment and abundance. And I also have to be careful that I don't overdo that, right? And get too focused on material possession and too focused on growing an audience or being a teacher, a guru, right? I have to be careful that I balance that I don't take it too far in one direction or the other, since I've been in that extreme opposite. So I should say there's a polarity here. There's a polarity of overcorrecting or overcompensating, and there's a beautiful balance in the middle, which is where I'm hopefully landing right in alignment, right? So this pendulum can kind of swing in either way based on our experiences. And so if you can have that insight that the things that are happening to you are happening for you, and they are not happening to you, you're not victim to your life circumstance, that they really are about giving you experiences that will expand your consciousness, then you can approach difficult situations and from a much more empowered solar plexus and a much more connected heart center, so that you are finding purpose behind the difficulties that arise on planet Earth. We also chose to come to a planet that is pretty wild and can be violent and has a lot of darkness, right? So if you can come back to this idea that you chose this, a lot of spiritual teachers talk about the idea that souls are lined up waiting to get onto planet Earth. And some of us who are here are like, what? This place is freaking crazy. Like, why? Why would you want to come here? But there's so much learning and there's so much soul expansion that happens here. That's what our souls are so hungry for. And so with the pain and with the struggle comes this expansion that is so incredibly powerful. And then you also get to lead the way for other people. So bringing it back to the heart chakra is ruled by the thymus, which is the gland that lives in the chest. And the heart chakra also is going to rule the heart, the whole circulatory system, the lungs, the chest, the shoulders, the arms, the breast, the diaphragm, the rib cage, everything in this kind of region. So this is often why we see people who have tremendous heartache or grief, they very much tend to feel it in their chest. They'll have respiratory issues from it. They'll have broken heart, literally, from grief and from heartache. So that's where those wounds tend to block a balancing of the heart chakra. Question is, what about being emotional all the time? So to generalize, feeling an overwhelming flood of emotion on a regular basis can be a couple of things. One can be an imbalance in the divine feminine. So the divine feminine rules the emotions, and the masculine is the more grounding, supportive force. So within ourselves, we each have masculine and feminine energies, and we want them to be balanced so we can feel our emotions, we can experience them, we can move through them, we can flow. We also want our masculine to be supporting us and holding space for us and giving us the clarity and the foresight. That's like, it's like when you're upset and you get a big hug and someone just says like, you're going to be okay, you're going to get through this. That's like the masculine force that is supporting all the intensity of the feminine emotion and flow. So it could be an imbalance in the masculine and feminine energy there. It can also be a backlog of emotion. So if you've got a lot of trapped emotion, and let's say that emotion is sadness, heartache, grief, anything in that kind of realm. It could be different, but that's what comes up since we're talking about heart chakra. If you're holding a lot of that emotion that has been unprocessed, trapped emotions, and you get one, it's like your cart is full of emotion, right? You drop one more straw in that cart and it all starts to fall out. That's what happens if your emotional cart is kind of full, and this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. And so you tip into that emotional response, you tip into it, it only takes the tiniest little thing. So that's where learning to move through the emotions and move them through us, and fully with the emotions, we want to feel them, process them, and release them so that they're acting as a guidance tool and not just this baggage we're carrying around all the time. So I always give the reference of little children. Little children, 2, 3, maybe even into 4, they have no problem expressing their emotions, right? If you have a toddler, you know, something upsets them, they let it rip, and there's no stopping that, right? Like, they don't care if you're in a restaurant or a store, they are on the floor, kicking, screaming, yelling, flailing, like they're letting their emotions rip. As adults, we would never do that, right? We hold it in, we shut it down, we keep it to ourselves, we swallow it down, right? And so children are very good at feeling their emotion, expressing it, moving it through the body, and then being done with it, right? After a child throws that tantrum, they get in the car and they're like, can we go to the park? Can we play? Can you put a song on for me? And you're like how do I just make it through that intensely emotional experience? I'm going to be wounded, be freaked out for the rest of the day. And the kids are like, boop, done, over it, right? Because they're not suppressing it and holding it, and they really let it rip and move with it. So there may be a backlog of emotion that needs to be expressed. Other things in that arena, boundaries. If there are boundaries that are constantly being crossed, where we don't have good emotional boundaries about how we're being treated or what's going on in our life circumstances, we're constantly allowing our energy field to be invaded, and that hurts. And so our emotional system is going to go, warning, warning, like something's out of balance. So you're going to get this emotional response. So I would watch all those different areas and kind of try and figure that out. One of the best things to do for that I love is emotion code. I'm such a huge fan of emotion code, and this is something I do. I do packages for emotion code, which I don't have any open right now, but I may open up some emotion code packages for June or July. It's a very powerful method of energy healing that releases trapped emotions. This is also an energy healing technique that you can totally learn to do by yourself. So there's a book called Emotion Code that I would highly recommend checking out too. Are heart walls related to the balance of the heart chakra? Yes. So a heart wall, and this is information that comes through emotion code. I've received this information firsthand as well in looking at people's heart chakras. And then once I studied emotion code, I was like, there's someone who's created a terminology and a whole set of information for this. But a heart wall is essentially a wall we put up around our heart that prevents, that's there as a form of protection. Just like if you had a castle and you put up castle walls to prevent invaders from getting in and pillaging your city, right? If you've had the experience of people coming in and wounding your heart through, let's say, breakups, through someone saying cruel words to you, through loss, any number of things that would cause heartache, we tend to put up these walls so that our heart chakra cannot be accessed and it cannot be hurt. And unfortunately, what happens with these heart walls, they can get thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. I think we all can recognize someone who's completely emotionally shut down. Someone who maybe has been through divorce or a lot of breakups or had a lot of loss in their lives, and they're like, I don't date, I don't do relationships, I am totally closed off to opening my heart to someone because they've been hurt too many times. It's a protective method. It's a very effective protective method, but unfortunately what the heart wall does is it blocks our ability to give and receive love. So while it's protective, it robs you of joy and it robs you of love. And so through emotion code, you can release heart walls. I see these images in people's hearts a lot when I read chakras. I'll see cracks. I will see almost like barriers around the edge that look like stone or rock. I'll see holes in the heart. I'll see things like clamped onto the heart chakra that are like almost like scabs that have never fully been healed. So I see a lot of wounding in the heart is how I often see it in a reading. So removing that heart wall allows you to access joy and give and receive love more freely. And it's most people when their heart wall is released, they feel it. They get this like whoosh or rush of like tingling or warmth or love, or you're just like, whoo, that felt good. And then you're like, oh, the heart wall is released. So it's really powerful to heal that heart wall. What about not speaking your mind right away? Is that related to the heart? I may save that question for the throat chakra tomorrow. So remind me about speaking your truth or speaking your mind, because I will definitely cover that in the throat chakra tomorrow. Okay, so coming back to the heart. So now how do we heal this broken, underactive, overactive heart? For crystals, rose quartz. I brought all the heart chakra things today. I was like, solar plexus, whatever, heart. I'm all about the heart. So rose quartz is just like this pink crystal. Oh, this is a little piece. You can get big giant chunks of this. Green stones, like I think this is green aventurine. I could be wrong, but anyway, green stones. Green tourmaline, jade, green calcite. This is emerald. This is like one of the most powerful crystals that I have ever personally owned and held. It is such a powerful healer of the heart. It makes my hands tingle, my whole body vibrate. Like I can't hold it too much unless I'm like really ready to like move some stuff. It's like I found this in a crystal shop. I picked it up and I just like carried it around. I was like, I can't put it down. This is way too expensive. But I was just like, I couldn't even like put it on the counter and leave it while I browsed around. I was like, this is mine. So green stones are great for the heart, or pink too. Okay. Let's see. And then as far as essential oils go, rose is phenomenal for the heart. Rose can be very expensive. So if you're not in the budget for rose, but rose is so special. I did an herbal class. I'm doing a 6-month herbal class with a local herbalist who's also an herb farmer. So I'm learning everything about just deepening my practice of herbalism and plants, and learning everything about planting, harvesting, drying, the uses, making salves, tinctures, all the things. I'm like just over the moon about that. But she had a rose tincture and glycerin that I got to try, and it was one of the most heavenly things. I got a drop of it. Heavenly things I have ever experienced. So I'm going to go to her shop. It's called Herb Farm. No, it's called Pharmacy Herbs, farm with an FARM, Pharmacy Herbs in Providence, Rhode Island. Like, I thought Vimergy herbs were really good. I tasted hers that she grows herself, like really cares for the soil, small farm, small handmade batches. Those tinctures blew me away. I was like, wow. So I'm going to be definitely dabbling and exploring those some more. So if you have a local herbalist who makes stuff, check them out, because it is a completely different experience, right? Like with food, I'm like, oh, of course, if I get mass grown food, like shipping in from Mexico, it's one thing. If I get a local farmer's really super fresh in season food, is totally different. Why that I didn't connect that to herbs as well. I just hadn't had the experience yet. So if you have that opportunity, check it out. Okay. So Amanda asks, I know everyone is different, but is talk therapy necessary in the beginning when you feel you can't handle talking it out at first? I want to get my emotions balanced and my feelings out, but I'm not always ready to talk about it because I don't know if I'm ready for it or if I'll be sent into a panic. Yeah. So don't force it, is what I would say. Our healing comes in divine timing. So, I talked about the disempowerment and the shame that I experienced. I had a repressed memory attached to that. And that memory didn't come forward until I was 35. This was 2.5 years ago. It didn't come forward till I was 35. It was repressed for 30 years. Maybe I was 36. It was repressed for 30 years. And I could not have handled that repressed memory until then. I was not ready. So I don't recommend digging for things. I don't recommend like trying to look for traumas or look for experiences that are affecting you emotionally. I think the most important thing is to find safe space and support first. So I have a lot of clients who work with me who we get into really deep stuff. And I never probe for that. It becomes a natural part of the process. And I have people, and just in the last 4 or 5 weeks, they'll say to me, I can't believe I'm telling you this. I've never told anyone this. Or I promised I would never talk about this. And there's no rush to dive into that stuff. You got your whole life to work through that stuff. So I say allow it to happen organically. And sometimes people tell me something happened or they had an experience and this is the emotion that comes from it. And you don't ever need to speak of it. You don't ever need to tell anyone. So you just wait until the time feels right. There's no pressure, and don't rush it. Don't rush it at all. And the repressed trauma that I had, I didn't tell my mom about it for a year or a year and a half. It just happened it came up and I was like, oh, this is what happened. And I wasn't ready to tell her about it until that time. So I think you just I'm all about allowing things to happen organically. So find spaces where you feel safe first. It's about finding places where people are really authentically holding space for you. And holding space means that there's a space, an energetic space, right? So it could be in person or it could be via a screen, right? Where someone is holding you in your highest potential, in your highest vibration. And they are in their own clear, grounded energy field. So I try to come into every call and everything super grounded, super clear, no distractions. I am here. And when someone's really effectively holding space for you, there's zero judgment. They never tell you what's right or wrong. They never tell you what to do. They never try to solve the problem for you. They're just holding a sacred, safe container where you can move and process and feel and talk. So that's fine. Find that. Pray for that. Ask for that to come for you. And yeah, Lindsay said, this is one of the beauties of emotion code. You don't have to talk about any of it. You can just release that emotion. So if you're not familiar with emotion code, definitely check it out or think about getting some sessions. There's many wonderful practitioners. My job is not to do thousands of emotion code sessions. My job is to introduce it to people, get people comfortable with it. So yeah, definitely check out emotion code. But no, there's no pressure and there's no rush. Like you just take it as it comes to you. Okay. So that was a beautiful tangent. Coming back full circle. Rose for the heart chakra, phenomenal. Geranium is also a beautiful oil for the heart chakra. I don't like the smell of geraniums at all. They like really gross me out, but I love geranium essential oil. I think because it just speaks to my heart chakra so much. So definitely geranium is a beautiful essential oil for the heart chakra. Bergamot is also wonderful. And lavender is the oil of calm and communication. So lavender is great for calming those emotions a bit in the heart chakra too. And then the affirmation base for the heart is I love. So you could say things like, I love myself. I love and accept myself. I love my body. I love my mind. I love my spirit. I love humanity. I love my children. I love my family. I love my friends. I love the support that I receive. I love interacting with people and making deep connection with them. I love sharing, healing, all those good things. So that can come through the heart chakra, the I love affirmations. Okay. So if anyone has questions on the heart chakra or the solar plexus, feel free to pop those in. And then we're going to move into our little guided mini meditation here on reading. And yeah, we're going to do reading your own chakras, looking for information from the chakras, and then also consciously manipulate, let's say adjusting, consciously adjusting the activity of that chakra. So you can open it up or you can close it down. So I'm going to invite you guys to close your eyes and begin to take a couple deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Sending your grounding cord down from the base of your spine. Deep, deep, deep to the center of the earth. Until you reach a crystal at the center of the earth that you're going to wrap that grounding cord around, anchoring you into the exact vibration that that crystal holds to support you and support your healing. And then I'll invite you to go deep within yourself by drawing your attention to the center of your head, right between your ears, into your pineal gland, the center of your intuitive channels. And then I'll invite you to begin to look at the heart chakra. So in your mind's eye, look at this wheel. Take note of the size and shape. Is it a perfect circle? Are there pieces of it missing? Is it abnormally shaped? Is the energy flowing and moving in a spiral? Does it feel stuck in any way? Feeling into your chest. What information does your heart chakra have to share with you through your clairsentience, your ability to feel? Does it feel warm, open, expansive? Does it feel tight or contracted or painful? Do any words come through to guide you about what sort of healing is needed or what wisdom is coming through the heart chakra? Do you have any generalized sense of knowing, just knowing what the heart chakra has to tell you? Looking again at that heart chakra and seeing, does there seem to be a heart wall? Does it look thick or thin? Is it made of wood or concrete or bricks or paper? Is your heart asking you to begin to release that heart wall in a safe way? Do you feel a deep connection to your heart, or do you feel a disconnect? Do you have trouble getting information from your heart chakra? Just trusting and knowing that whatever you see, hear, feel, or know about this heart center is exactly what you need to know today. And whatever information you receive or do not receive is not good or bad. It's not to be judged in any way. It's just guidance. Breathing deeply into that heart space. Allowing the shoulders to relax and come down, bringing you more calmly grounded into your body. And then I'll invite you to bring your awareness down to your solar plexus chakra. Do you get any physical sensations in that space? Do you feel a tightness there, a burning sensation, an itch, a gnawing feeling? Or does it feel calm, peaceful, balanced? Looking at that chakra, taking note of the color, the size, any images that may be showing up, any symbols, any messages from a past loved one or a guardian angel. Somebody's definitely getting a connection to a past loved one through the solar plexus. Are there any words coming through the solar plexus? Any words that really resonated as I was speaking on it earlier? Is there anything you know to be truth about your self-esteem, your sense of self-worth, your empowerment, your mission in life? Are there any denied parts of yourself that are begging you to come back home and explore them through the solar plexus? Do you feel your adrenals speaking to you, or your digestion? And then I'm going to invite you to bring one hand over the solar plexus and one hand over the heart. Feeling into those energy centers. And I'm going to invite you to close down your root chakra to about 5%. So a very small wheel of energy, closing that down. Closing down the sacral chakra as well, turning that down to about 5 or 10%. Moving out of any energy of survival and moving into the energy of the solar plexus and the heart, the energy of empowerment and interaction and purpose. And I'm going to invite you to open up your solar plexus to about 60 or 70% of its maximum capacity. You want to be careful maybe not to fully open the solar plexus because you don't want to overpower. And then coming to the heart chakra and opening that all the way up to 100%. And just feeling, what does it feel like to fully be in your power? To fully be in compassion, grounded, fully free of our survival needs, and really moving into our ability to thrive, to serve our purpose, to be of service to the divine in this world. Really feel into that powerful solar plexus and that open, welcoming, powerful heart chakra. And I'm going to invite you to just sit in silence for about 30 or 45 seconds and feel what messages are coming through regarding your own empowerment, compassion, and your life purpose here. Just feeling in your own time. Inviting you to take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, expressing gratitude for any information or wisdom that came through in this brief meditation, and inviting in continuous guidance and support for all of our healing, wellness, well-being, and our service of our life mission, soul purpose. I'm going to invite you to bring that heart chakra back down to about 70%. So you're not too wide open. You're being discerning with where you put your heart energy. Bringing that solar plexus down to about 30 or 40%. It's a good space to be in as you go about your day, not underactive or overactive. Bringing that sacral chakra back to about 50%, fully balanced. And opening up that root chakra to maybe 20 or 30%. Because most of you have evolved beyond survival, and we are working now into thriving and 4D consciousness today, understanding that our mind is an incredibly powerful part of our life experience. How we feel about ourselves, how comfortable we are interacting in the world, how connected we are to our sense of self are very powerful aspects of our ability to thrive in the 4D. Taking one more deep breath. Coming back into your body, wiggling fingers and toes. My body's like, no, I don't want to come back. It's so nice. Let's stay there. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. All right. How do you guys feel? Tell me in the chat box. Oh, I feel so much more grounded. I had a wounded inner child aspect come out of solar plexus. Definitely been feeling solar plexus lately, anxiety stuff. And so there was a version of me that was like, just like under all this like muck. I was like, where are you? And like, I was like, come to me. And this version of me was like literally stuck in this, like, what they call this, like crust, like goo. And I was like, oh, you can't move. I was like, I'll come to you. And I was like, I don't know how old you are. I don't know what this is. Like, and I was like, I'm going to throw you in the ocean. We had to clean all this stuff off. So I threw in the ocean and she was me right now. And so there was two versions of me. Like we ran up the beach and we hugged each other and we were like, okay, we got this. Like get out of that crud that's like blocking you in your solar plexus. Come back to your power of knowing who you are. So that was nice. Lisa saw the sign of yin and yang in the stomach area that I need to balance more. Yeah. Felt a little nauseated and had a few hard moments of breathing. Yeah. So just feeling those blocks. And so again, like whatever comes through to you is, it's not like, oh, I had blocks, so it's bad. Someone else didn't have blocks, so it's good. It's awareness. It's consciousness. You know, it's the way your body can communicate with you. And recognizing that you can check into these chakras at any time and be like, ooh, I keep trying to prove myself. I keep trying to tell someone else what to do. Am I overactive in my solar plexus? Do I need to just like calm that down and be like, you're okay, just as you are. You don't need to be or prove yourself in any way. You don't need anyone else to validate you. Lindsay saw a few scars on her heart and a staircase. Yeah, go deeper to fully healing. Yes, totally. Love it. Any of those pictures that come in, sometimes when I do a chakra reading, I get the most random images and I'm like, I have no idea what this means. So I'll ask the person, do you know, does a frog mean anything to you? Like, I have no idea what this means. Or I'll be like, give me some more information because I can't even interpret this. So just trust that whatever's coming through there, whatever colors you're seeing, what sizes, what shapes. Some people are more clairaudient. You're going to hear things. Some are more clairvoyant. You're going to see things. Some, it's all going to vary. Yeah, Lisa's seeing colors in that heart chakra. Cleaning, throwing mud off my heart chakra. Yes. Cracks being filled in. Yes, totally. Those are all really beautiful symbolisms there. So I did pretty good with timing here. So I'm going to wrap up and just share that every single one of you watching this live or on replay is a light worker. If you've not been told before, you definitely are. You wouldn't be drawn to this. You wouldn't be interested in learning about the chakras and doing your own healing work if you weren't. And if you feel any call to do this work for other people, if you have this, like, I just really want to help other people feeling, just know that that is your soul speaking to you. And that is a very unique feeling. Like 99.99% of people have absolute zero interest in like doing healing work or being of service. They're kind of just, they're in their own life. And of course, most people have a degree of compassion and empathy where they want to help each other and support their loved ones. But if you feel this nudge, like, wow, I want to be able to do a chakra reading on someone. I want to be able to do emotion code sessions for myself and for others. I want to I know the journey I've been on to healing. I know I have a lot more healing to do, but I've come so far and I feel this call to guide other people through that process. Just please know and recognize that that is your soul speaking to you as part of your life purpose and part of your mission. And that you may think, oh, everyone kind of feels that way, but they don't. They really don't. If you polled the general population, they'd be like, hell no, I don't want to deal with anyone else's problems. So if you're feeling that call, just know that that is innately the way your soul is speaking to you. And I'm being called more and more to guide people through their own healing and then taking that into doing healing work for other people. And again, that can come in many different ways, but my calling is, I can only do so much healing for people, right? And you guys know I don't do single sessions anymore. Like I can't keep up with, I honestly can't keep up with the demand. I am referring people out all the time. So you guys are so freaking needed. Yes, the ripple effect. Like I'm maxed out in terms of how many people I can serve. And so my mission that I'm being called to is to develop healers. I've been healing the healers, and now my mission is to develop the healers to do healing work. So there's going to be a lot more coming from me and helping people tap into their intuitive gifts. I'm going to be doing a chakra reading certification. I may start with a basic training that's like very reasonably priced. That's like maybe a 6 or 7 week course, and then turn it into a bigger certification process. So you have a real thorough, intense training in energy healing. I have my business mastermind that is starting at the beginning of June, which is all about helping light workers start or grow their spiritual heart-centered businesses, and to dive deeper and deeper into their own healing work so that they really have blazed the path themselves, and they can relieve those blocks to feeling disempowered, to not feeling worthy to accept money, to giving too much and not being able to receive. So, and then also having the structure and the strategy, the masculine behind that, so you can make a really nice living. So you can work 3 days a week and make a 6-figure, soon to be multi 6-figure salary by really living into your life purpose and feeling really good about that. So if any of these things, these opportunities that I'm saying resonate with you in any way, shape, or form, please know that that is your soul speaking to you. And that's why you are here, and that's why you are on in these trainings, right? We're just touching the tip of the iceberg with this basic chakra training, right? And I hear and see a lot of people saying like, oh, I'm way too afraid to put myself out there. What will my family think? How will I possibly ever make enough money? How will I afford to pay for the courses? I don't know what my purpose is. I don't even know how I want to serve people. All of those are just blocks, right? Those are all limiting beliefs that are imbalances in some of these chakras. It's not trusting the intuition. It's feeling disempowered. It's your inability to receive. It's fear of judgment. It's so many blocks. And just know that like that's totally normal. If you didn't have all those blocks coming up, you would not, I don't know, you wouldn't be a human. I've been through every single one of those stories. I've seen so many of my soul sisters doing work like this, work through those stories. I'm doing energy healing sessions for my coaches, cohort 6 of her big mastermind that I was in cohort 4 of, and they're all building their businesses. And I'm hearing all these stories, and I'm like, oh girl, you got this. I've been there. You're gonna work through this. It's no big deal. So whatever limiting beliefs, whatever you feel like is blocking you from big moves into your soul purpose, know that this chakra work is a really powerful foundation for getting rid of those blocks and stepping into the 4D, and then really stepping into the 5D, where you just get to be a magnet for what you need and what you desire in life. And that magnetism, that having all your needs met and being really tapped into your intuition is such a huge driver for being able to put out into the world your soul mission, the healing that you are meant to bring to humanity. And I'm creating my ripple. I'm part of a ripple of many teachers that I have had, and you guys are going to get in the ripple. You want to be part of the ripple. It's so powerful. It's so fun. It's so rewarding. When people have to tell me that they do like a 9 to 5 and they have to commute an hour each way and they get 2 weeks of vacation and they get paid, I'm like, no, you don't have to live that way. You can have so much more freedom and be so much more fulfilled. And just being misaligned. We're going to talk a lot about alignment tomorrow in the higher chakras, but living in that misalignment is so gut-wrenching and painful. And I did it. Trust me, I had a corporate job for 10 years. And there's so much more out there for you when you can heal and balance these chakras and recognize the shadow aspects of you that you want to heal. You can move mountains. You can do anything. So that's why I do this work. So thank you guys so much for coming. Solar plexus and heart chakra are like very faves of mine, but tomorrow we're going to do throat, third eye, and crown, and we're going to get real woo-woo. So I hope you guys will be joining for that. And thank you so much for showing up, for putting the energy into your own healing, for all the love you put into these little messages. No bees today. No, the bees are like, you got this. You don't need an outside source. All the power is within you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. You are amazing. And we have a mini on with Emily, the future healer, right? All of your children chose you mamas to be clear vessels for them and to keep them as clear as possible. So your light work mission may just be mama-ing, but it's all good. All right, love you guys so much. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.